Hello Stampers, and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. Today I am so excited to show you this amazing reflection technique that I did with the Beautiful You stamp set. I just think that her in that beautiful dress and the umbrella, of course, so then it makes you think that it's raining, so the puddle just seems necessary, and to have that beautiful reflection there, I am just absolutely in love. So let me show you how to do this because the reflection technique is actually pretty simple. I did kind of go crazy with this card and made it a little bit more difficult with all of the coloring and the homemade designer series paper here to match any color that you need, but I actually think that the reflection technique is pretty quick and simple. So let's get started. First I used the Beautiful You stamp set, which is in the Occasions mini catalog, and that is this one here. It is super fabulous. It comes in the two cases because there's 13 images, but there's the three beautiful ladies as well as all of those greetings, which I love those greetings. They're a little bit outside the box, not your typical happy birthday or thinking of you, but yet they're really powerful, amazing greetings like life looks beautiful on you. Love that. Okay, so I started with a piece of Whisper White, and that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm going to take that image of the girl with the umbrella and ink her up in the basic black archival ink. So then, of course, since I have my designer paper on this side, I'm just going to kind of stamp her around the middle of the card, maybe a little to the right-hand side, and make sure you have that nice even pressure on there. So to get the reflection, I'm actually going to ink her up again in the basic black, and then I'm going to take a piece of window sheet. So of course you can't really see the window sheet because it's clear. There you can see a little reflection. And I'm going to just stamp her down onto the window sheet. Now you want to be careful because you can kind of slip and slide because it is window sheet and it's slippy. And then I'm just going to, so now that I've stamped her, you can see she's on the window sheet. And now I'm just going to flip her over, line up that little squiggle line that you see there, and set her down. And then now I'm just going to lightly press over the top to make sure that it transfers onto my cardstock. And there you have that amazing reflection where it's the opposite image, because if you stamped her again like this, you wouldn't have that opposite image. It would be the same image going in, in different directions rather than it both going in the same direction because of her reflection. You can wipe off your window sheet and then use it, time and time again for lots of different projects. And the other cool thing is how it doesn't look like a nice solid image. It kind of has that rough image look, and I love that. So then I used the Watercolor Pencils. Oh, there's a little pearl on there from one of my classes, I guess. So I used my Watercolor Pencils, the Rich Razzleberry and Bermuda Bay, and I just colored her in and used the blender pen to blend those colors together. So here we go. And any little leftover blue, I'm just going to kind of blend, which I guess I didn't have a lot left over, so I was going to add it down there, but that's okay that there wasn't any left. We can always add a little bit more later, but also when we stamp them, we're good. And I'm just going to go back and just kind of highlight some of those dark lines on her dress just to make them pop a little bit more and give a little bit more dimension to her dress. And then this time I won't actually use the blender pen to blend the color. I'll leave it nice and dark like that. And then the umbrella in Rich Razzleberry. And go back in for the highlighting. Okay, so now we have her all done, and you can always do a watercolor wash down here at the bottom with a little bit of ink and either your blender pen or your aqua painter. But I'll be honest, I was nervous to do that and have it come out perfect after doing all of this. So what I actually used was the watercolor wash stamp set, So that's this one here with that giant background watercolor wash that you know is going to come out perfect every time because it's already a stamp. So I actually just use that to stamp on the bottom to create that puddle look. So I'm just going to set this aside, bring in a little piece of scrap paper so that we can stamp this big image. And I'm actually not even inking up the whole thing because I know I don't need the whole thing, but I do want to make sure that I ink it up well. So this is done in Pool Party, and I'm just going to stamp it from that little squiggle by her feet down. Just like that. And again, with this being such a large stamp, you want to make sure that you have that nice even pressure. And there you have that watercolor wash down there done as the puddle. And of course, this portion is going to be covered up by your designer series paper. So after doing this card, I decided that I wanted to put some decorative paper along the side just to kind of fancy it up a little bit, but I didn't have any rich raspberry or Bermuda Bay designer series paper. So I ended up pulling out some of my Irresistibly Floral paper, which is this with the dots, and it's got that embossed dot on it that's going to do an embossed resist. And I just made my own designer series paper. So again, we're just going to set these aside, bring back in that scrap, set this down. I used rich raspberry and one of my sponge brayers, and I just inked up the sponge brayer just like this, and then went right over that designer series paper until I got the color that I wanted. Which, you know, I always like a nice dark color, so I kept going and kept going. Okay, and then once you have that desired color, then you'll just want to wipe it off with some paper towel to make sure that you have any of that excess ink, and then you'll really kind of see those dots pop after you do that too. Just like that. See how fabulous that is? So now it's time to assemble. I used a rich raspberry card base, and I'm just going to place this off to the side of it on our white, and then we'll wrap the ribbon around, and then we'll place this on our card base. So I used a little bit of Bermuda Bay stitched ribbon and just tied it into a knot. So nothing fancy, no special bows or anything, just a simple knot. So right over left, left over right. And I have an extra little twist in there, but that's okay. I'll trim off my little tails here to make it a little shorter. And then of course we can't forget our greeting too. So the greeting I just went ahead and stamped in basic black, and that's the Life Looks Beautiful on You. So we're just gonna stamp that up top here. And now we can place this on our card front. And it looks like I got a little boo-boo right there. Some ink or something got there. So I think maybe I'll just add like some rhinestones, you know, maybe 3 little rhinestones around up top there, something like that, to hide that little boo-boo, because let's be honest, it's still a beautiful card and stuff like that happens. So no worries there. You know, you can always just cover that up with a little rhinestone or pearl or enamel shape. So I hope you try out this technique, the reflection technique. I've used it with a lot of trees in the Lovely as a Tree stamp set as well, and super love that. So I'll leave a link down below so you can see some of those other samples I've done with the reflection technique. Of course, I'll be posting these on my blog, laurastampad.com, so you can check them out there. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, and check out some of my other Technique Tuesday videos down there. And let me know what one your favorite is. I'll see you all next time. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.